Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into something I know is on a lot of your minds if you're following our Chat Like a Native journey.
Yeah, we're tackling a really crucial mission. We've looked at the best research out there on fluency. And today, it's all about stopping that mental translation habit. You know, converting English back to your native language in your head. We want you thinking directly in English.
And honestly, this is so important. It's not just a nice to have, it's pretty essential.
Yeah.
That translation loop, it's probably the single biggest bottleneck for intermediate learners. You've got the grammar, you've got the vocab.
Right.
But if you're stuck translating, you're just going to have those slow responses, that sort of halting speech.
Yeah.
You miss things. We want to get rid of that brain pause so you can just process things, movies, conversations instantly.
Yeah, that fluency.
Right, exactly. So today, we'll lay out the amazing benefits of switching your brain to English mode. We'll also pinpoint the specific things holding you back, those sticky habits. And then, most importantly, give you a practical, step-by-step plan to rewire your thinking. Let's really unpack this. Hashtag, the transformative power of thinking in English.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the immediate win. Speed. It's huge. When your brain skips that translation step, your communication just gets faster, more natural. Think about the mental energy you save. Not filtering every single word.
Oh, definitely. And it's a massive psychological boost, too, isn't it? When you start trusting your English mind, you stop second-guessing yourself against your native language all the time, that hesitation just sort of fades.
He really does.
And the confidence that comes with that, it's incredible. You're not so worried about tiny mistakes anymore.
Right. And what's really interesting is how much your actual comprehension improves. By cutting out the translation, your brain builds these direct links between the English word and the idea itself. This is so critical for understanding fast speech or slang, stuff that just doesn't translate well literally.
Yeah, that makes sense. And here's something maybe a bit surprising. It can actually help your accent and rhythm.
How so?
Well, by thinking in English, you're constantly practicing the language internally. You're sort of rehearsing the sounds, the stress patterns, the intonation, subconsciously.
Ah, I see. So that internal practice starts to shape your actual spoken English.
Exactly. Your thinking voice kind of guides your speaking voice toward sounding more natural.
Yeah.
Hashtag, identifying the roadblocks. Okay, that all sounds fantastic. But if it were that easy, everyone would be doing it already. So before we get to the how, we need to figure out the why not. What are the typical roadblocks? What stops intermediate learners from making that switch?
Yeah, good question. The research consistently highlights about 5 main things. First off, sometimes it's not purely mental. It's a simple lack of vocabulary or those ready-made phrases.
Right, like you just don't have the word handy.
Exactly. You don't have it on the tip of your tongue, so your brain just defaults back to what it knows, translating the idea from your native language. And boom, the habit loop starts all over again. Then, number 2 is just the power of habit itself. I mean, for years, maybe translation was how you learned. It was a useful tool early on. So now that mental shortcut is really deep-rooted. It takes conscious effort to break it.
And I bet the fear of mistakes plays a huge role. Thinking directly in English feels riskier, maybe?
Yeah.
Messier.
Definitely. If you form the thought perfectly in your native language first, it would be correct. So reverting to translation feels safer, even if it's slower. You're afraid of errors, even just in your own head sometimes.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that ties into the 4th block, over-complexity. Trying to build these long, perfect sentences with really advanced grammar, like right in the moment. It just fries your working memory. And when your brain gets overloaded, what does it do? It goes back to the easiest path, which is usually translating a simpler version from your first language.
And the last one you mentioned.
Limited peer exposure. Simple as that. If you're always watching movies with native language subtitles or reading articles with constant lookups back to your language, your brain never really gets forced to operate only in English. You need that immersion, that pure English input.
Okay, so we know the obstacles. Let's get practical. How do we actually start making this switch? It's obviously not like flipping a light switch, so we need small steps. Yeah, actionable things.
Absolutely. Small steps are key. Let's start with maybe 3 core methods for that internal practice. The first one is almost like a little brain hack. Naming objects around you. Just look at things and say the English word.
Like literally just chair, window, laptop.
Exactly. Start simple. Lamp, book, phone. Then maybe add an adjective. The red book, my work laptop, the closed window. The key is forcing that direct link. object-deed English word, no middleman.
I like that. It cuts out the translation step immediately.
Yeah.
Right, so building on that, what's next?
Method 2. Use simple sentences. Again, don't aim for Shakespeare here. The goal is fluent thought, not perfect prose. Think things like, I feel hungry, or the sky is blue today, or I need coffee. Short, simple, direct thoughts in English.
Got it. Focus on the flow, not the complexity. And the third method for this initial phase.
This one's really good for building that comprehension muscle. Switch to an English-only dictionary. A learner's dictionary is ideal. When you hit a new word, look it up in English, read the definition, check the example sentences, maybe look at pictures if it helps.
So resist the urge to immediately translate it back.
Exactly. Train your brain to understand the meaning within the English context. Don't run back to your native language for that safety net every time. Hashtag, tag, active internalization, and routine changes. Right, so once you're comfortable naming things and forming those simple thoughts, we move into more active internalization. This involves a couple of practices that might feel a bit weird at first, but they're super effective for training that inner voice.
Okay, I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Speaking to yourself in English.
Yeah.
I know people sometimes feel self-conscious doing this.
They do, but the research is pretty clear. It works. Describe what you're doing, either out loud or just in your head. Okay, I'm making tea now. I need to remember to send that email. It normalizes the act of producing English. And related to that, some sources specifically mention mirror talk. You know, actually looking in the mirror and talking to yourself for just like 2 to 5 minutes a day. It sounds odd, but it helps you get used to hearing yourself speak English.
Okay, I could see how that would help build confidence.
And then there's method 5, which builds on self-talk. Narrate your everyday tasks. Turn boring routines into little internal stories. If you're cooking dinner.
Okay, first, I chop the onions. Now I heat the pan. That smells good.
So you're basically providing a running commentary of your life, but in English, inside your head.
Pretty much. It trains your brain to think in English across all sorts of different situations you encounter daily.
That sounds like it could get tricky, though. What happens when you're narrating making breakfast and suddenly you need the word for, I don't know, spatula, and you just blank? How do you avoid instantly switching back to translate?
Ah, great question. That brings us to a really important strategy. Let's call it method 8, actually. Slow down to process. When you hit that wall, when you feel that panic rising because you don't know the word, just pause, take a breath.
Taking that extra second to consciously search for the English word or even just describe it, the flat thing for flipping pancakes, is way, way better than automatically jumping back to translation. If you force yourself to be fast too early, you'll panic and revert to the old habit. Speed comes later, naturally. Don't rush it. Hashtag the input engine in the challenge notebook. Now, we can't just focus on output. We need fuel for the engine. So method 6 is crucial. Massive appropriate input. You have to listen and read a lot.
Right, like podcasts, articles, books, videos.
Exactly. But make sure it's at your level, roughly. Not too easy, not overwhelmingly hard. And here's the key. If you need subtitles, use English subtitles, not subtitles in your native language.
Yeah.
You want to flood your brain with English patterns, idioms, the way the language actually flows.
Okay, input is key. And to make that input even more active, there's shadowing and repeating aloud, right? Method 7.
Yes. Shadowing is powerful. You listen to some native English audio, a podcast clip maybe, and you immediately repeat what you hear, trying to copy the rhythm, the stress, the intonation exactly.
It feels a bit like you're mimicking, almost like karaoke with speech.
It does, but it's incredibly effective for training that inner voice you use for thinking. It tunes your ear and your mouth to the sounds and flow of natural English. Okay, so you're practicing, you're getting input. What next? Method 9 is about reflection and correction. After you've tried speaking or done some mental narration, take a moment. Think back. What was hard? Did you get stuck on a word? Did you translate something literally and it sounded weird? A really good tip from the research is to keep a simple challenge notebook. Just jot down those specific tricky bits, the word you missed, the grammar point you struggled with. Don't obsess over fixing it right then, just note it down. Later, you can look up the correct English way.
I like that. It turns mistakes into learning opportunities, not failures.
Yeah.
Okay, and the final method, number 10.
Method 10 brings it all together by weaving English into your daily fabric. Change small daily routines to English. Simple things. Switch your phone's language setting. Make your shopping list or to-do list in English. Maybe try journaling just one paragraph in English each day.
Little environmental changes.
Exactly. And maybe the most powerful routine change suggested is doing a nightly recap. Before you go to sleep, just Mentally run through your day thinking about what happened, but do it all in English. It's like setting your brain's default operating system for the night. Hashtag mindset, consistency, and the 30-day plan. So we've got 10 solid tools now, but tools are only useful if you use them correctly. What about the mindset? What are the common mistakes people make when trying this?
Yeah, that's crucial. I think the biggest pitfall is probably being too harsh on yourself. You will make mistakes. Your brain is being rewired. If you beat yourself up every time you slip back into translation or make a grammar error while thinking, you'll just give up. You got to allow for the messiness,
Absolutely. Mistakes are just data.
right? Another big one, trying to do everything at once. Don't try to implement all 10 methods tomorrow morning. You'll burn out by lunchtime. Pick 2 or 3 that resonate with you. Focus on those until they feel more automatic.
Good advice.
And maybe the most important point, consistency over intensity. Seriously, 5 or 10 focused minutes of, say, narrating your breakfast every single day is neurologically much more powerful than trying to cram in 2 hours once a week when you feel motivated. It's about building the habit.
Totally agree. So when someone starts getting the hang of this, what does success actually feel like? How do they know it's working?
Well, the biggest sign is you stop noticing the translation process. It just disappears. You start understanding faster speech, like in movies or conversations, without that mental lag. Your own speech probably becomes smoother, fewer long pauses while you search for words. And importantly, you feel more confident just trying things out, using new phrases, even if you're not 100% sure they're perfect. It's a feeling of internal freedom, really.
That's a great way to put it.
And to help people get there, a lot of the research suggests using some kind of structured approach, like a 30-day plan, not as a rigid rule book, but as a guide.
Right, to build habits gradually.
Exactly. So like maybe days 1 to 7, you just focus hard on naming objects and that simple self-talk. Then days 8 to 14, you start adding in the daily narration, boosting your input, maybe trying some shadowing. And by the final week, days 22 to 30, you're really focusing on integrating those routine changes like the phone language and that crucial nightly recap.
It makes sense. It's about layering the habits, rewiring the brain step by step in a way that's actually manageable and sustainable. Hashtag outro.
So I think the main message here is really about patience and maybe surprisingly enjoyment. You've got to find English content, articles, podcasts, whatever that you actually like. If you're genuinely interested in what you're reading or listening to, sticking with it becomes so much easier. That consistency is key. That's so true. And remember, if you're at that intermediate stage, you already have the building blocks. You've got vocabulary, you understand grammar. These methods we talked about, they're really just about changing how your brain uses those tools, shifting from translation first to English first.
Yeah, you've done the heavy lifting already in some ways. And don't underestimate the power of accountability. Tell a friend what you're doing, find a language exchange partner, use a habit tracking app, anything that keeps you going. Celebrate those small wins, too. Like, hey, I named everything in my kitchen without translating. That stuff matters for motivation.
It really does. Okay, so let's leave you with a final thought to mull over. If consistency truly is the secret weapon here, think about this. What's one highly repetitive thing you do every single day? Making coffee, walking the dog, washing dishes, whatever it is. Could you commit, starting tomorrow, to narrating just that one task internally, in simple English sentences, for just 5 minutes every single day? That small, consistent narrative might just be the first real step towards unlocking that internal fluency you're aiming for.